Alright, I'm not gonna lie, I hate making this video. So if y'all are new, drop a like and especially hit that sub, dude. We're trying to get to 10K before the end of the year, so let's make it possible. But today we are talking about gear. I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, as y'all know, gear is something that a lot of y'all are probably working on global, and today I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the best way to go about it as a free-to-play player. Right now, I know other creators such as like Giku, Nagato, and them, they have kind of made their guides about gear, but today I will kind of go through the entire process about gear as well, but I will also give you my best tips as a free-to-play player, and especially how to kind of go ahead and quote-unquote compete with the whales. Now, global people are just, they're built different, okay? That's something you kind of have to accept, just because there are going to be a lot of players on global. But from my time on JP and KR, I have obviously gone up against the whales, and I've won. And so today we're going to go ahead and kind of talk about all that and how gear really does make a gigantic difference, because eventually you're going to get to gear sets that are going to look like this, right? I mean, maxed out 40k magic attack. I mean, stats are not too shabby, but we're going to go ahead and kind of go through it at one step at a time. Now, first step, you all know that gear does come from your dungeons, obviously, right? So this is going to be where you get obviously your main place of gear sets, and each stage being red, blue, and green, they do vary and give you different gear sets. Now the red one, however, is going to give you speed, defense, and attack, right? So speed, defense, and attack, that is what you're going for in this gear set. And obviously, when it comes to gear, by now, hopefully you are starting to realize that there are a difference between a regular gear set and gold gear set. The main way to break this down is a regular gear set is going to give you a 2-piece set. It's going to give you 220 physical and magical attack, whereas you do put a 4-piece set on, you are getting a 10% increased damage overall. Whereas a gold attack set, which is going to be the little stars, that's how you can kind of differentiate between the two. A regular attack set, it's just going to look like this, no stars on it, as you can see. And then a gold attack set is going to have a star on it. That is what we refer to as gold set. So hopefully that cleared that up. But with a gold attack gear set, if you do put on a 2-piece, then you are gaining a 7% increase in your magic attack as well as your physical attack. And then if you do put on a 4-piece set, you are gaining a 15% damage increase overall, which is super duper nice. When it comes to your speed set, for one turn at the start of the wave, you're gaining a 20% increase in speed. And then if you do put on a 4-piece set for your regular speed, then you are gaining a start of the battle a 4% increased speed. So not too bad, really good. And then if you do put on a gold gear set piece at the start of the wave for 2 turns, you are getting a 5% increase in speed. And then if you do put on a 4-piece set, you are just straight outright getting +5 speed on your unit. So really good. This is this is going to be great for units such as Finral, Voltos, and William, your speed units, support units even. But we'll go ahead and kind of break down what gear sets each unit will need. I might do that in a separate video, actually. I'm not too sure, but for now, let's just go ahead and continue. When it comes to your defense set, however, obviously this one doesn't give regular defense, but this stage should, I believe, right? Yeah. So regular defense, you know, 250 just defense straight out right, which is not too bad. And then 4-piece set, you're gaining a 20% increase in defense. However, the gold defense set, you are gaining a 2-piece set, you're getting a 30% increase in defense, which is fantastic for such as units such as Mars and Soul. And then a 4-piece set is going to be a 40% increase in defense, as well as I believe 8% blockness, I believe, or toughness. I'm sorry, it's toughness, not blockness, which is really good, just allowing your units to tank even more so. But that is the red gear stage. Obviously, like I said before, speed, attack, and defense, that is what you were able to get from your red stage. And then when it comes to your blue stage, you are farming for crit rate, max HP, and then defense as well. So defense you can go ahead and kind of get from, you know, your red stage and your blue one, but do keep in mind that this stage is just going to give you the regular defense set and not the gold one. So kind of have to pay attention about that. But anyway, that's how it's working for the most part. When it comes to, you know, your HP set for your max HP, if you do put on a 2-piece set, you are getting a 7% increase in max HP. And then for a 4-piece set, you are getting a 10% increase in max HP, which is not too bad. Crit rate here, I believe if your HP is at 70% or lower, then you do gain a 10% increase in crit rate. And then if you do put on a 4-piece set for 2 turns, you are gaining a 10% increase in crit rate. So I personally don't like farming crit rate. I will explain why later on when we kind of get down the road in the video, but just know crit rate, in my opinion, is not something you do want to farm. But I will talk about that in a second. When it comes to, I already talked about that. When it comes to your max HP gold set, For 2 turns, you are simply or 2-piece set, you are gaining a 7% increase overall. Oh, I already talked about that, just kidding. When it comes to the crit rate, I'm sorry, a 2-piece set is going to give you a 5% increase in crit rate, and then a 4-piece set is going to give you a 10% increase in crit rate. So you may think it's good, but I will go ahead and talk about why it's bad later on. Then when it comes to your green stages, this is where you're going to farm your penetration sets and crit damage. In my opinion, this is going to be the next important stage after you kind of get your main gear set from your red stages. And the reason being is because as you are kind of progressing through the game, like later on down the road, especially when you get to kind of where JP and KR is at, crit rate and crit damage and penetration, I mean not crit rate, but crit damage and penetration is going to be so important to have as a gear set. Because it's going to allow you to obviously do more damage from your crits, and then your defense penetration is going to allow you to tear through your enemy's defense, which is just really good, especially for your damage dealers. But that's pretty much how it's working on this page. Gold penetration set for 2-piece, you are getting a 7 increase in defense penetration as a stat, and then a 4-piece set, you just straight out right defense penetration plus 15%. So not too shabby, not too shabby. And then crit damage here is going to be 2-piece set, 7% increase in crit damage, and then 4-piece set increase in 15% for crit damage, which is not too bad. So that is where you're able to farm your gear stages. A lot of y'all are probably familiar with this by now, but if you don't know, whenever we do get these limited time stages, because I don't think it's out on global yet, you will be able to farm gear as well. Now obviously we don't have it here on JP and Kara as of when I'm recording this video, but on certain days of the week there will be 3 stages just like these 3 that are going to have special gear you can farm. Now they are going to allow you to go ahead and get SSR gear easier, UR and LR gear depending on what stage you are taking, and in there are going to be comprised of crit rate, crit damage, attack, defense, max HP, and penetration. I may have mixed around the order, but you can find out which stage they are whenever global does have it. And this is going to be a fantastic way, especially free to play, to go ahead and get these higher rarity gears without having it be so difficult. Typically these aren't as hard as compared to the obviously regular gear stages, so this is going to be a best way to go ahead and farm it. Unfortunately, you're only allowed 1 attempt per day, which is pretty standard. I mean, I don't mind it because, you know, not only is the stage easier, but they do have a higher increase in drop rate for the gear set for that difficulty, which I would not mind at all. So 1 clear I think is enough. What I preferred more, absolutely, but you know, we can't have everything though, right? So that is essentially where to go ahead and get gear, right? From your dungeon, and then limited time challenges whenever they do have it throughout the week. So that is that. Vanessa is also going to be another source of you gaining your gear set. Now the thing with Vanessa is you kind of have to build, it's going to be for accessories, I'm sorry, it's not for gear, but rather accessories. I will talk about accessories in a different video, so stay tuned for that one. But if you do want to build a gear set, you can here. Global doesn't have this yet, so it's kind of pointless to talk about, but later on you will get this to where you can make different gear sets. But while I was here, I might as well just show you anyway. So this is something that you can look forward towards later on. Are these gear sets worth it? Well, it could be a little bit different on global, so I'll kind of wait to talk about it when we do get it. But now let's go ahead and actually break down a gear sets for your units, right? So for example, I'm going to go ahead and use Noelle, obviously, right? Just everyone loves Noelle. Here is how gear sets are working. By now, if you don't know, when it comes to your vertical pieces, these kind of pieces, they are going to consist of your attack set. They can either be a attack or a regular attack. So magic attack here is going to be my main substat for this piece. And then if we take a look at a different unit such as, let's see, Yami here, this one is going to be a physical attack piece. So depending, you have to take a look at your gear set and see which main stat that piece has, and then you can kind of figure out, oh, does it belong on this attack unit, does it belong on that attack unit, etc, etc, just so you know. Like for example, I would not give a physical attack set piece to Noelle because obviously her main attack stat here between the two is magic attack. So you don't want to give physical, you want to give magic. Pay attention to your characters, which one is going to be their main stat for your DPS unit, and then you can kind of figure out what gear set you need to give for them. Next one up is going to be your square pieces. Now your higher rarity gears, keep in mind I am basing this all on LR gear, by the way. I know that the lower rarity gear such as like rare, SR, and stuff like that, they're a little bit different just because they want to make it more friendly for like brand new people, but this is obviously end game, which I'm telling y'all. So LR gear, this is what you're kind of looking forward towards. When it comes to your square pieces, however, same exact thing. You're looking for magic or physical attack piece. just so you know what units you need to give this gear set to. Now when it comes to units such as Mars and stuff, right, there are going to be vertical pieces for them as well, but the thing is that there are defense sets, so you can look out for a main vertical piece that does have a defense piece on it. And obviously ideally you would not give this vertical piece to a unit such as Noelle, because it would just be a waste, right? So pay attention. I'm sure y'all all know this, but you can take a look to see what, you know, is their main stat for that gear piece, and then they do show you the type of piece. So as you can see, this is a vertical piece, this is a horizontal piece, another vertical, and then a square piece. Now when it comes to this one, for example, Charmy, where is she, right? So Charmy, wrong Charmy, oh my gosh, so many Charmies in game. Where is she? Charmy, right? So Charmy is going to have a vertical piece, and these horizontal pieces are going to be strictly HP pieces. So you don't want to give these to your attackers just because it was a waste. You don't want to give them a main stat of HP just because it will not benefit them, because typically they have low HP to begin with. So you don't want to give them HP, but it does kind of vary unit to unit depending on what they can do. So that is how all the pieces are working for the most part. And then obviously their gear set, depending on, you know, if it's a gold gear set or a regular gear set, you will get a additional bonus over here. So for example, if I go back to my Noelle, as you can see, I do have a regular 2-piece set on her. She is gaining a 220 increase in physical and magical attack, and then I have a 2-piece of the gold attack set, and she is gaining a 7% increase in magic and physical attack. And then I have a 2-piece set for the gold crit damage. He is gaining a 7% increase in crit damage. So yeah, you'll be able to see what gear set exactly you have on, and your I guess additional bonus is what I'm going to go ahead and call it. So that way you can see, you know, what exactly am I working with my unit, and that is going to be breaking it down. Now let's go ahead and talk about the gear sets, just kind of give you a overall gist on what gear set each typing needs. Now let's go ahead and start off with attackers. Obviously it will vary from unit to unit. Not every single unit is going to have a gear set looking like this. For example, you know, a unit later down the road may not have something like this. They could be completely something different. So it all comes down to the character itself and what their skills can do. But I'll just go ahead and kind of give you guys the full breakdown of how generally most attackers are in the game. So for attackers, you don't want to give them a 4-piece set. Now you're probably thinking, why would I not want to get any additional 15% increase in just damage overall? Wouldn't that be good? Yes, that would, but you have to remember that you would have to end up giving a defense piece and a HP piece to this DPS unit, which is not ideal, right? Even though you are gaining that 15% increased damage overall, it is not worth it, because you want them to have as much magic attack or crit rate, crit damage as much as you possibly can, because if you do that, then that's higher damage they can give out, as opposed to if you do give these 2 pieces, potentially, even though you do have the 15% increase in damage overall, you may not be getting that high amount of damage, because you are having a main stat of 1600 defense here and then a main stat of 6000 HP here, which is not going to benefit the unit at all, right? So the way that we kind of broken things on JP and KR is you want to go with a 2x3 piece meta set. That means a 2-piece set of something offense related, a 2-piece set of another thing offense related, and then the last one offense related, which can either be crit rate, crit damage, penetration, gold penetration, whatever of you're choosing. And then if you do follow this gear set pattern, then you will have one available slot, and then you can kind of just go ahead and give a vertical piece of either physical or magical attack depending on a unit, so that way they can kind of benefit. They're not going to have a beneficial set, because as you can see, there isn't one matching with this one, but you are still gaining that almost, you know, 3000 additional magic attack for that unit, as opposed to if you gave something like a defense, it's not going to benefit them, right? So this is how typically most units will look like. The gear set itself will vary, but that is the meta that we kind of determined to be best on JP and KR, and so far it's been working out great, right? So that is how that is working for your offense units. When it comes to defense units such as Mars, Mars is going to be just your standard tank unit. He just needs a lot of defense and he'll be a-okay. So a unit like him, you are going to want to give him full defense pieces. Now as you can see, he does have a set bonus, and this one is a physical attack piece. This one is not really going to matter as much, but obviously you do want to give him whichever one he does prefer. I think he mainly thrives off of magic attack, and for some reason I gave him a physical piece, which is wrong. But if you do this, then you're good, because as you can see, he has a 2-piece of the gold defense, which is allowing him to gain a 30% increase in defense. I think that is much more worth than just having this piece by itself, so that's kind of why I gave him this physical attack piece set. But yeah, if you want to do something like this, that would be great. And then the rest of the pieces are defense, 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 and defense. The more defense he has, the more tank he is, and the more damage he will be able to consume from hits, which is fantastic. That's him playing his role as a defender unit, which is great. As the unit compared to, for example, Rodis, as you can see, the gear set is different. It is completely different. It's very, very similar to looking like a DPS unit because, like I said, not every unit is built the same. So you want to give them gear set according to what their skills can do. And Rodis is a unique unit to where he's a defender unit, but his skill set is thriving off of a magic attack set. And the reason being is, as you can see, I have 31k magic attack on Rodis, and his barrier is based off of magic attack. The higher magic attack amount he has, then the higher barrier his barrier will be for your team. So for example, right now I believe he has a 31k magic attack. He is offering a like 85k barrier, by the way. So that is kind of why you want to give Rodis a gear set looking like this, to where he has as much magic attack as possible. You might not necessarily have to give him a bonus set if you don't want to, but I just kind of went ahead and did that just because why not? It might be a little bit beneficial just so he can get some damage off, which is not too bad. But if you are looking for crazy damage from this unit, don't expect it, because that's not what he's meant to do. He's just meant to have an extremely high barrier for your team. So for example, like this is an example. This is a great example of a unit is a defender unit, but he doesn't, you know, kind of go off of a unit such as Mars, right, who has purely defense sets. So you kind of have to look to see what that unit offers regarding kit wise, and then go from there. But I just kind of want to break it down. And then a unit such as Season No Charmy, she is a unit that thrives off of max HP. You want to give a unit of max HP that offers healing like this, because the more max HP she has, then the more healing she is able to do. So this is kind of the meta set that we gave for units who do heal off of max HP. So the more HP she has, the more healing she can consume for your team, and then it's just better, right? More longevity, allow you to complete fights and just win in PvP. So that is that. And then like a unit such as regular Charmy, right? This unit is working off of magic attack. Her healing is scaled off of magic attack. So if you want to give her a gear set such as this to Noelle, it would not be a bad idea, because she will have an insanely high magic attack, allowing you to do insane amount of healings. I believe I showed this off stream, like on stream the other day, and my Charmy was healing for 101k. So that kind of shows you how broken you know, each unique unit's kit is. So if you have it that way, you'll be good to go. Just kind of read what they can do and you'll be good to go. But if you do like need a specific video for a character build, let me know. I don't mind it, but I just kind of wanted to go through and talk about gear set, especially as a free-to-play player, because this is going to be very beneficial. And now let's talk about how to go about gear as a free-to-play, right? I kind of already broken down how gear sets are working, where to get them, and the pieces and everything. Now let's talk about what is the best way to go about it as a free-to-play player, right? Because on global, I know a lot of y'all are farming this, right? You're trying to farm as many gear sets as possible, try to get your hands on as many pieces as you can, and you're like, okay, how do I do it as a free-to-play? You know, do I just throw all my stamina into it and all that? So as a free-to-play player, the way I kind of went about gear is make sure you are using your food items, okay? If you are not, you are missing out on a ton. So for example, this green stick here, it is offering you a 10% increase in drop rate for equipment, which is aka gear. And then this blue one here is offering you a 15%. So if you can get these food materials to go ahead and make these food items, I think you are going to be in a very solid position. No, it does not guarantee you the gear pieces, but it does give you a much higher chance of being able to go ahead and potentially drop a LR piece, which you might need for your unit. So things like that is going to be a best way to go ahead and farm your gear set as a free-to-play player, because you are utilizing in-game resources that, you know, you can use, which some whales might not, because they already have broken units. They might not need it and they can have, you know, do runs for days. But that is going to be a tip I want to give y'all, just because it is going to make your life a little bit easier. Not a lot, but it is going to help you with your gear set grinding as well. And then for those who are kind of stuck and maybe you can't farm LR gear, like I said before already, try to go for gear sets. Ideally, the gear stage that you do want to farm on global right now as a free to play is the level 10 stage, because the level 10 stage, that is when you are able to unlock the gold gear sets. Everything else before this, you are not able to get gold gear sets. Unfortunately, it's going to be the regular sets. So your goal, just for, it doesn't matter free to play and pay to play, you are trying to aim for the gold gear sets. The regular attack sets, I mean, not attack, but the regular gear sets can be helpful in some situations, but like 95% of the times, you're always aiming for the gold sets for your gears, because they typically are a little bit better and they are going to be more beneficial for you in comparison to a regular gear set, if that makes sense, right? So stage 10 is the one you want to aim for as fast as possible if you can. If you are able to farm this one, I think you are in a very, very good position, because not only are you do have the opportunity to go ahead and pull SSR gear, but you do have that opportunity and you can farm gold gear set, which is going to be quite beneficial. So if you can do that, you are good. And then just slowly do as many runs as you can, get as much gear as you can, and then you can kind of go forward and maybe go to stage 11, and then from that point on stage 12, and then finally you can reach stage 13, in which you are finally farming LR gear. And the cool thing about stage 13 is that the minimum that you are getting is SSR gear, so you don't have to worry about SR fodder gear or anything like that. Stage 13 is when you can finally start getting minimum SSR gear, so you do have a very good chance of getting maybe some UR gear, not necessarily LR gear because the rates are horrendous, but hopefully you can get your UR gear sets, the gold ones at least, the ones that you're looking for, and then just go from there. Keep in mind, if you were able to beat stage 13, most likely you can probably beat stage 15. There really isn't a gigantic power difference. I mean, the power level itself, like displayed wise, is a big difference. It's like a 20k CC difference, but the actual enemies itself are not that difficult between stage 15 and 13. I can go ahead and confirm that. When I was playing Canada, I was able to beat stage 13. I was like, you know what, for the heck of it, let me try and see if I can beat stage 14. I was able to, no problem. And then I was like, okay, if I can beat stage 14, let me try 15. I ended up being stage 15, and then ever since then I was farming it no problem. So don't be scared. The CC level may be a little bit high, but if you can beat stage 13, I believe in you, and you can beat stage 15. Okay, the only thing is that, remember, if you are trying to dispatch it, your power level does have to be above it on global. JP and KR, they don't have that, which I love. So global, I'm hoping they can get it soon, but I do understand why, because people just abuse it. On global, you have to have it to where your CC is higher than the required amount. So for example, if I were on global right now and my team is at 189, I would not be able to dispatch. But because JP and KR, they already gotten rid of that, then we can go ahead and farm. Like, I can literally take a I can take, if I wanted to, right, where's a good team I can take? If I wanted to take Mimosa by herself, I could just dispatch it. I could dispatch it no problem, and I would be a-okay. 33k CC when the power level is at 198, right? So it's a little bit unfortunate, but that is that. Now let me actually go ahead and talk about support units, because I kind of forgot. That was the last one that I needed to talk about. When it comes to your support units, remember how I said that a 4-piece set of a gear set is not worth it? Well, for your support units, especially speed units, that is going to be a little bit different. So you guys know that Finral, Valtos, William, these guys are the speed demons. They are the fastest units in game. They will allow you to go first most times, always. And with these guys, they are very gear specific, to where you want to give them full speed, okay? So obviously my Finral does have a 4-piece set of the gold gear set. He is gaining an additional +5 speed on his stat. So as you can see, his speed stat is at 125. He is gaining a 5 increase in speed, which will allow him to go first. And then for your last 2 slots, you want to give him a +2 of the gold, the regular speed set, just so he has that even more speed potentially on his first turn, which is not too bad. So I will say speed units are very specific. You want to give him something like this like 9 out of 10 times, unless it's like very specific for a unit. But from the units that I've experienced and seen so far, your support units that are fast and speedy like this one, then they are going to have a gear set looking like that, okay? But overall, like I said, I kind of wish I wish that I would go through all the units to go ahead and show you the gear sets for the ones that you need to look out for, but this video would end up being like 10 hours long. I will go through whenever we get these units released on global. I will do specific gear guides for them, just so y'all know, just so you're not having to kind of take a look at this and like, okay, let me go ahead and copy that. I will actually break it down for you guys, just so you know the exact gear set you need to give for these guys, so that way you can make the best out of it and the most out of it, right? So that is going to be my gear guide. It may not be more as in depth as others, but I want to go ahead and just kind of give you my breakdown of how I've done things as a free-to-play player as well. By now y'all seen this on day 5 of global, so yeah, hopefully y'all are having good luck with your gear sets, LR wise and all that stuff. But if you're not, I wish you luck. Y'all can do it. I believe in you. And yeah, let me know, what is your current CC right now? I know a lot of y'all are whales as well, so yeah, flex your CC in the comment section, right? But if y'all are new, drop a like, hit the sub. All right, peace.